The number of tanks Russia has lost in Ukraine is staggering. At the start of 2024, the International Institute for Strategic Studies, IISS, put the figure at 3,000, the equivalent of Russia's entire pre-war stock of working tanks. The open-source investigative project Oryx has visually confirmed 3,673 losses, and the figure is now believed to be somewhere between 3,000 and 8,000. One main battle tank in particular has been decimated, the Soviet-era T-80. By December last year, at least 1,035 of them were confirmed as destroyed, damaged, abandoned or captured. Derived from the T-64, it was the world's first mass-produced tank with a gas turbine engine, the GTD-1000. Designed to be fast, quiet and highly mobile, it can travel at 40 miles an hour off-road. Up to 10,000 T-80s were produced between 1975 and 2001, including a number of variants such as the T-80B and the T-80U, which was fitted with reactive armour and a larger 1,250 horsepower gas turbine engine. Russia used them in Chechnya, but they suffered heavy losses. 18 of the 84 T-80s involved in the Battle of Grozny were lost. And in Ukraine, they've not fared much better. The T-80 guzzles fuel and only has a range of 300 miles. Its weapon systems also aren't a match for the Western tanks Ukraine has been gifted. Russian tanks, including the T-72, T-80 and T-90, also use a carousel autoloader and store their ammunition inside the turret. If they're hit by a drone or anti-tank missile in the right spot, this is often the result, the so-called turret toss. It's the reason Russian tank crews are said to have nicknamed the T-80 the Steel Coffin. Online videos surfaced to which it's claimed shows Russian forces retrieving damaged tanks from the battlefield, a sign the Kremlin is struggling to replace what it's losing. Russian mill bloggers say Moscow's now deployed 90% of all the T-80s it had available, either sending them to the front line or to this factory at Omsk in Siberia, where they're upgraded to the latest variant, the T-80 BVM. Satellite imagery of the plant taken last year showed T-80s parked up, ready to be converted. In April, Russia resumed production of the GTD-1250 gas turbine engines used in the T-80 BVM. Soon afterwards, the head of Russia's largest tank manufacturer announced it was also resuming round-the-clock production of the T-80 BVM at the Omsk factory. This was taken as a sign that the Kremlin is in this conflict for the long haul. One reason Moscow wants more of the BVM model is its ability to fire depleted uranium rounds. The US has supplied Ukraine with these powerful anti-armour weapons to use in the M1 Abrams it's given to Kyiv. Russia's former defence minister, Sergei Shoigu, a longtime ally of Vladimir Putin, was filmed touring the Omsk factory, promising to increase production to 2,000 tanks a year. The BVM model has reactive armour, anti-drone and anti-missile protection grids, and an upgraded fire control system. But even with this new production flow, Russia is only just covering its losses. The UK MOD estimates Moscow's losing 100 tanks a month in Ukraine. So how many tanks does Russia have left? Well, finding a precise answer is pretty much impossible. Estimates vary widely, but it's thought Russia had around 6,000 tanks in storage, dating all the way back to T-54s and T-55s. Reports say a factory like Omsk can refurbish or upgrade around 350 tanks a month, but the quality of the production is falling because of sanctions. How many T-80s are left? Well, that's also unclear. Oryx estimates that half of the T-80Us that have been lost were actually abandoned by their crews, possibly because of a lack of fuel, rather than being destroyed by Ukrainian fire. These were 4 T-80 BVMs captured by Ukrainian troops, some fresh from the factory. While Russia's losses have been astronomical, Moscow has deep reserves. It's also adapted its tactics, launching dismounted infantry assaults rather than using massed armour. And with Russia still making slow, grinding gains, the tally of tank losses doesn't necessarily tell the full story. Simon Newton, BFBS Forces News. Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.